It is lead up to one of my busiest markets of the year, and I have so much to show you behind the scenes this week as I finish final prep for this market. And I'm also going to tell you a little bit more about this market and how it came to be, because maybe it's something that you want to incorporate into your area. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Ashley, and I have built a six-figure bakery from my home. I am now using what I learned to build that business to build our 3D printing business, but this time I'm taking you along with me because I think that everybody should have the knowledge to build a small business and be able to earn extra money. So let's get into it. Good morning, everybody. So I spent the weekend out of town with nothing printing on my machines, which means now this week I'm really going to be playing catch up in preparation for my market. And this is what I'm getting up to. So I'm doing some of these ice cream pint holders. They are made by Leha Design. I've already done black penguin and pink penguin, and now I am working on a couple blues. This machine is doing some clickers, and on this one I am working on the can koozies, so like these ones right here, and I'm going to just be bringing a handful of colors of those. I have had people reach out to me asking me for them. I've printed them for people in the past, so I thought, hey, why not get some and bring them to the market. So I've got a couple more colors of those that I still want to do. The Tamagotchis are going to take, those are the clickers that I'm working on. They're Tamagotchi clickers. If you know, you know. If you're old like me, it's from when you were a child. They were super fun, but I am working on those, and I have so many more things in my mind that I want to be able to get printed in this time, and we'll see if I'm able to make it happen. So wish me luck on that. I'll keep showing you guys what I'm doing as I go, and hopefully it's going to be another fantastic market. So the market that I am doing this week, you will hear me refer to many times as the night market. This is a local market in my town that I actually arrange. This market started way back in 2020 when there were no indoor markets, and it was actually just a pop-up in my driveway with my bakery. People weren't able to go into these kinds of craft fairs and do shopping, and they were desperately missed. And I really wanted a way that I could interact with my customers because everything was porch pickup at that point. I started with a small pop-up in my driveway and invited a couple other small local businesses. I didn't charge them anything. I just asked them if they wanted to come and set up and see if they could sell anything to my customers in the driveway. It allowed their businesses to get in front of my customer base. Over time, that pop-up got a little bit bigger, and another local business who was a brick and mortar wanted to get involved, but obviously she can't just pick up and move the way that the rest of us could. So we moved to her property. And the first time I did it there was December 3rd. I can't actually remember if it was 2020 or 2021, but it was freezing. It was very, very cold. It was pitch black because it's December and it gets dark at 5 o'clock at that time of year. We're outside and it was -40, and the market was packed. We had so many people come out to this market, and it was just the start of something amazing. I think I had about 10 businesses at that first market, and fast forward to now with this next market, I will be at 25 local businesses. I still don't charge them anything to be involved. This is my personal choice. If you are arranging a market, absolutely, you can feel free to charge your local businesses whatever kind of fee you want to that you think is fair. I don't, because again, it's just for me to help these other small businesses to grow. I am really big in support of small businesses and helping people to be able to grow their small businesses. So that is why I put this market together. The market runs on a Friday twice a year. I do the spring market and the fall market, and it's 2 hours long. It is only 6 to 8 p.m. So if you want to come to that market, you better get there in that 2 hour window. Because from my experience, whether you give people 2 hours or 8 hours, if they want to come to that market, they are going to come. So I would rather have all of the people come within a 2 hour time window than spread out over a very long 8 hour window. 2 hours feels busy, it's energetic. 8 hours, if you have the same amount of people, can feel really slow and like your day is dragging. The market now runs outside at that same property and a neighboring property, two businesses. And what's awesome is that the more people that come, which helps when it's done in a 2 hour window, the more people passing by, as it is a busy road, start to wonder what's going on, and they too will then stop and shop. The market is a lot of work to put together, but it always turns out really great. And I just love being able to do it and having something for my small community to be able to come to. And I always get really, really great feedback on it. So now let's see what all I'm going to get up to this week in preparation for that market.
Hello, hello. I did not get back in here yesterday to film anything more because it's just been so busy prepping for this market. So we are now just 2 days before, and this is what I'm working on. So these are little tiny flexi beavers to go in the GachaPop machine. And here, this is actually a unicorn horn I'm currently printing for a cake that I'm working on in the bakery. Another amazing thing that I can now do with these machines again is to make this stuff for myself in the bakery. And then here I'm printing some little dinosaurs. On these two machines right now, I am actually these BICU Panda Juicer nozzles. So this one has the 0.4 millimeter on it, which is the typical nozzle size that I would use on my printers. I like these ones because they are hardened steel, so they do perform better than the ones that come with the machine. I do have one in here as well. This one is the 0.6 millimeter because if you've heard me say before that when I'm working with a silk, which is what this is printing in a gold silk, I actually keep all the settings as if I'm using a 0.4 millimeter nozzle, but I swap it out and I put in a 0.6 millimeter nozzle. I don't tell the machine, I don't tell the slicer, nothing that I have made that change. And I have found that I get way less clogs when making something made out of silk than I get if I use a 0.4. So these ones are really nice nozzles. I'm so thankful to BICU for sending them to me. I use a few BICU products in here already. You can see my build plates that I use constantly, which are theirs. So it was so nice of them to reach out and offer to send these to me. They did send a 0.8 millimeter nozzle as well. And I haven't actually ever printed with a 0.8 millimeter nozzle. I've never owned one before now. So I'm going to give that a shot on something next week after the market. And I'm just curious to see what the layer lines are going to look like printing with something like that. So for now, I'm going to leave it at that. My whole thing for the rest of today is I just got to get more things printed for this GachaPop machine because I have fallen behind on it. And with 2 days until the market, I obviously want to make sure that that machine is going to be full on my table. So I have so many things to get organized, as you can see, and all of that is hopefully going to happen tomorrow. Good morning. We are just 1 day away from the market, and I did not get to record anymore yesterday because, in typical fashion, for me, again, I have a printer down, and again, it's the A1 Mini leading up to a market. There's something wrong with the hot end and how it's heating up the nozzle. So I'm not exactly sure what's wrong. I did take it off to tighten the screws on the back of it yesterday morning, and then this problem occurred afterwards. So the strange thing is that I know everything in there is nice and tight. I'm not exactly sure what is causing it to not heat the nozzle up properly, but that is a problem for another day because I don't have time to solve that problem today. Over here, I have some fidget rings printing that is printing with this really pretty matte rainbow blaze filament from and on here I have some puppies printing. Some of what I got printed was these alligators printed in one of my favorites, which is the Shire by Everyone. And this is how those cute little beavers turned out. There were a couple more items that I printed, but I don't have them here. And today, hopefully, I'm going to be getting all of those into the GachaPop machine, get that nice and full. I want to print more coins for it. It does have coins that it comes with to print. There are other slots that you can print to fit regular coins, but for right now, I'm just going to do the plastic coins. So I need to get more of them done today. And then I have to clean up my mess in here and just get everything packaged up, ready to go. I've just been taking stuff as it comes off the plate and dumping it on this table behind me, which is a really bad idea. So I got to get that tidied up, get everything organized into my bins. Then they're all organized in their price points, and I will be ready to go. So Busy day, lots to do in the bakery still, a whole bunch to do in here, and we'll see how I get through it all. Okay, so slight snafu with my GachaPop machine to no fault of the machine itself. The lid is not on right now, which is why it looks like this. The capsules that I ordered for it, which I ordered 2-inch capsules, couldn't figure out all week long why it kept dropping 2 capsules at once. Well, I finally took a moment to measure them, and it turns out that they're 1.5-inch capsules. I had put in an order through Amazon that's supposed to arrive tomorrow between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. Unfortunately, I leave to set up for the market at 1:30 p.m. So, really hoping that it gets here before that. If not, I'll have to have my husband run them over to me and I will have to get them filled as quickly as I can at the market. Now, part of me, I am happy to know that actually the capsules were the wrong size because that allows me to print bigger items. So like these were like the teeny tiny dogs and they're super cute, but for me like they were a little bit small. You can see them there. So I printed these earlier, which these spiders could not have turned out any better with this Rainbow Blaze filament from I'm so happy with how they turned out. And I printed these hammerhead sharks as well. So hopefully this size will be better for the 2-inch capsules. I'll find that out tomorrow. I'm printing more coins for the machine right now so that I have a whole bunch on hand for the market. And eventually I do want to print them with my logo on them, but I just don't have time to do that tonight. So that'll be something for another day. Good morning, everybody. I am officially organized for the market, have everything laid out, and I will be ready to go for later in the day. As far as what I'm finishing working on, I have these 2 makeup brush holders finishing printing. The color could not have turned out better. This is another filament, and I'm really, really happy with how it looks. And then over here, I just have 2 dragons printing. They've got just over 5 hours left, so we'll finish right about when it's time for me to leave. So I will just be grabbing them off the plate and going. And I'm doing these ones again in another filament. This one is a matte filament. This one is a silk. And other than that, I am thankfully fully ready for the stuff for the 3D printing business. The last time I did my night market in the fall, it was pure panic of me trying to get everything together in time before leaving, and I was up late last night doing it all. I have all of the minis for the capsules over here, hoping that my capsules arrive on time and I can just throw them in before leaving. And now it's just a matter of me finishing up in the bakery. I have a handful of things left to make, and then I have to get everything loaded up into the car and make my way over. And it does take me quite a while to set up because I am setting up 2 businesses. So even though the market doesn't actually start until 6, I'm going to be heading over around 1:30 p.m. because it takes me about an hour to set up for the bakery and an hour and a half to set up for all the 3D printing stuff. And because I run this market and have other vendors coming, I hate trying to set up and they're getting there and they have questions. So I really want to try to be completely done setting up this year by 5 o'clock at the latest. So this is going to give me extra time to be able to do that so that I have more time once my vendors arrive and then I can start taking pictures of the event. We do a big draw, so I have tickets for that to hand out, and it's just way easier for me when I'm fully set up. So I, of course, will record my setup and I will let you see my table once it's fully done. And I'm just excited to see how this market is going to go. Normally, this market is way warmer for me because typically I do it the last Friday of May, but that night had a dance recital for my daughter this year, so I was unable to book it for that night. So it's tonight, and it's abnormally cold, of course, for this time of year. It is going to only be about 11 degrees Celsius tonight. No rain, so I'm happy for that. But I do hope that the cooler weather doesn't keep people away because it is an outdoor market. So wish me luck. We're going to see how it goes. I'm going to take you guys along on the journey, and then I'm going to be open and honest and I'll tell you afterwards how it went. So stay tuned. I'm here at the market to set up. I have most of my bakery stuff set up, just a few things in a cooler that have to go out still. I just want to show you the GachaPop machine. So the proper sized capsules arrived and I have them all in there now. So I am charging $2 per token to be able to use the machine, and I'm going to have a little dish in front. Hopefully some people will recycle their capsules, because these ones that I bought wind up with a price point around 55 cents each. So obviously I would like to get those back. And yeah, so let's see how the rest of the table setup goes.
If you're still watching, please take a moment to hit that like and subscribe button. It really means a lot to a small channel like mine. It's so hard to battle the algorithm and AI and all of that stuff out there. But when you hit subscribe, it really helps me to be able to continue coming back here and doing what I do to help all of you grow your businesses. Drop in the comments below what your upcoming market season is going to be like. Maybe you don't do a lot of warm weather markets, which I typically do not. Perhaps you're going to wait till the fall. What are you going to do now to start preparing for the fall so that it's not overwhelming for you when that time comes?
Let's talk setup here, and I'm going to show you what I'm doing. I always start out by doing my containers that have all of my little flexi toys in them. And what I like to do is when I pack up from a market, all the same priced items like these flexis will go together in the bin, and I actually put the price sign right inside that bin with them, so that when it's time to set up the table next time or to organize prints that I'm making at home, I can just drop them in the bin with the coordinating price sign that is already in there. Of course, sometimes there are some mix ups, but I know what these items are supposed to be priced at, so I just put them right back into their proper containers where they actually belong. And this is probably the most popular part of my table for people to look through, which is why I just kind of toss them in, mix them around, make sure that there's some repeats that are in there at the front and at the back, and it just gives a good mix for people to look through. Next, I'm going to move down the table, and you can see my GachaPop machine there, but primarily what I'm setting up here is all of my Flexi Factory things. I like to make sure that they look good, they're standing up on the table, and this is also a very popular part of the table for me because the Flexi Factory items just look really good in person. I highly recommend that membership. Down the other end of the table, I had more problems setting this area up just because of how windy it was and a bunch of things kept blowing over. But you can see I've got my birdhouses here and some canned koozies, some jewelry boxes, and the ice cream pint holders. It's just kind of a whole mixture of other non-toy items. And now I'll take you down the overall setup so you can see what the entire table looks like. You see how nicely my price signs there that are on the table pop. I will put a link above in this video to the video that I made just showing you how to make those really simple price signs. I do use the neon green because it pops so nicely on my dark blue tablecloths. You can see my giant Flexi Factory T-Rex there. People love looking at that and asking questions about it. It's definitely something that catches the eye. These bins I put together just for this market. I had a whole bunch of random sized eggs and different things I really wanted to get rid of. So I put them on a clearance price to help clear some of those out. And then you can see my GachaPop machine finishes off the table with my Stitch sitting on top. And I just think the whole table looks so good, nice and colorful, really eye grabbing.
So now that the market is over, let's talk numbers and how everything went. So I'm going to preface this with something because for me, it's a little bit different how the market goes than it would be for a lot of people because I do two businesses at this market, and there are other markets that I run two businesses at as well. I have two more markets that are going to come up in the coming weeks, and both of them I am running two businesses at. However, the layout and how people can approach the tables for those markets is a little bit different. So for me at the night market, I set my tables up on the porch of this business, which is in a house. You can only come up from one side or the other. People always tend to approach my table from the side of the porch where they walk along in front of the 3D printing business tables and come to the bakery. And for me, that's mostly okay because if they are in line, which often I do have a 15 to 20-minute lineup for people waiting for the bakery. But if they are in line, then they can kind of look at the 3D prints along the way, and I'm able to help them out with both businesses when they get to the bakery table. However, if people just want to shop the 3D printing business, they are highly unlikely to wait in the long line for the bakery just to take a look at the 3D printing business. So it is hurtful to me in a way how I have to have it set up. But in order for me to be able to be there to take care of both businesses, it's the best way that I've come up with it so far. And for this market, my son was actually great and he was so helpful. I taught him how to use Square. So he was able to take the Square payments. He was dealing with cash. He was getting people to get the tokens for the GachaPop machine. So it did go really well in that sense. So, what came in for the market this time? If you saw my video for the table, I had one table was really packed and the other table actually didn't have as many prints on it as I thought that I had prepared. So, I'm going to have a few more items to get onto that table for the next two markets. And it also didn't help that it was incredibly windy on this day. I wasn't actually even sure how many people were going to come out to the market because it was cooler than normal for the time of year and it was very, very windy. But I was lucky, not a lot of things blew over and a ton of people came out. So, how did the 3D printing business do? The market was 2 hours long, and in that period of time, we sold $215 worth of prints. I was quite happy with that. We have people who said they were going to reach out afterwards because they wanted some of the items that we had, but in different colors, and that's great. And honestly, $100 an hour on average to be at a market, I think is pretty good. Do I think we could have done more had the bakery lineup not been blocking the tables? Yes, I do. However, the bakery customers were also shopping the table while they were waiting. Now, to give you a comparison for how the bakery does in that time, the bakery has a big, loyal customer base here in my town. So, in that same 2 hour window, the bakery did a little over $1,400, right? Great money. Really amazing in terms of a 2 hour market. Not many people I know can go to a 2 hour market and bring in that much money. Obviously, all that money is not made in 2 hours. I am killing myself in the bakery all week long leading up to the market to prep for it. I just wanted to give you a comparison of how the two different businesses do. I'm really curious to see how the next two markets will go, being that you can approach both tables from either side and people won't have to be stuck in a big lineup for the market. Plus, both of these events are a little bit longer. I think that they both run for 4 hours, if I am remembering correctly. And what's nice is that one of them only had an entrance fee of $5 per business, and the other one was actually free. The one that was free, this will be my fourth time doing that event, but I've never had the 3D printing business at it. So I'm really curious to see how that is going to go for it. And I do have a history with the people that come to that market. It is at a school. So I'm seeing the same parents and students every single year for now what will be the fourth year. And of course, I'm going to bring you along. I'm going to show you behind the scenes leading up to that. I'm going to show you maybe some changes that I make to my tables when I set up. And hopefully, you'll be able to gather even more tips along the way. I want to say a special thank you to BitQ for sending me those hot ends. They're still working in my machines. I love them. I haven't had any issues with them whatsoever. So I highly recommend checking them out the next time you need to be able to grab some more hot ends. And make sure that you like this video and subscribe so that you can continue to get the behind the scenes content as I lead up to my next markets. Plus, I'm going to be putting out my video on how to set up your Google business profile soon. So make sure that you have your notifications on so that you're going to get that because a Google business profile is really, really great for being able to grow your business. Thank you all so much for watching. And until next time, happy printing.